So, hi, welcome to After the Hype. It's real loud.
Yeah, that was shocking.
Peeking right out of the gate. It hurt my ears a little bit, but I'm okay. No, I'm not going to do it again. That's what we got. That's the new joy of how we're recording this. There's no do-overs. We're doing it live. Your host always Bryan.
Recorded live.
With me, as always, is Jonathan Hardesty.
Hi. I
totally just swallowed your name like a drunk person. It's just one word.
That is now my name, and don't you forget it.
I couldn't hear it.
It's clearly it was Jonathan Hardesty. I don't know how you're not understanding it. Kelly DeWitt is here with us as well, coming back.
Hello.
Left her lesser half behind, which is great. Now we just have
he's over here. He's fine. He's living the dream over here. So
I'm just not gonna say any of the jokes that just went through my head. We also have Brok Holiday coming back. Hi, Brok.
Hello. Hi.
Welcome back. You've been on one of these, right? We have done After the Hype. I am saying welcome back, not just welcome.
I did this show last year. It was the last time I was on, actually.
We've been doing them that long?
We did a year recap last year because I talked a lot about the Halo TV show being.
I was on for that one.
Yeah, that's right. We had some big gaps.
Here's to some more. We're going to do our best to be more consistent. We've been consistent lately, consistently consistent. Although right before we started recording, I did tell John we have to change our recording pace a little bit because I'm tired. It's been an exhausting year to bravely transition into the topic for today. 2024, man, it's come and gone in about 5 minutes ish. Had some real highs, some real lows that are gonna echo in eternity. We'll see how great that is, in just a few weeks. But this past year, we did have a lot of fun stuff. There's a lot of good media. And we're going to talk about some of it. I wasn't very specific when I said, let's do a top 5 of 2024. And I guess I should have been. Looking at some of these lists, not all of them are from 2024, but that's okay. If you go over to Super GG, I don't remember where the website is, where they have our games list. I am very guilty of having things on my best of 2024 list that have absolutely nothing to do with 2024. 4 of them, in fact, are the same game from not 2024. So I understand not pulling everything from this year. We're all older. We don't have time for things. I get it. Right?
Yeah, and like you said, it's been a complicated year, and even in entertainment, just things aren't hooking, things aren't grabbing, and even I'll spoil a little bit of my list ahead, like I'm watching old stuff. Like I didn't watch a lot of new stuff or engage in a lot of new stuff this year. Something I want to do better next year, but like I wasn't in it.
Same here.
Yep.
So,
but let's talk about the good stuff, right? We're gonna do the best we can, even if we didn't watch everything from 2024. We're gonna have a good time talking about things we did in 2024. And now I'm starting to sound like an idiot. I think we need to start with a warm up. I'm liking our warm ups. Are you guys ready for a warm up? So
hit me, baby, one more time.
It's not that. Although no, I don't think I cover that. So I'm going to spoil my number 2 thing, I think, when we get to my list. My number 2 thing. So my top 5 things when we get there. Number 2 is going to be spoiled. It's the band Little Big's, their album Lobster, Popstar. If you're not familiar with Little Big, you should be. They're fantastic. And they're also absolutely fucking ridiculous. Very, very funny band. And as a warm-up, I figured we could listen to part of one of their songs and immediately get demonetized on YouTube again, which is great. Everybody loves that. We'll probably get hit with some sort of copyright thing, and they're going to acknowledge that they have it. And we only listen to a few seconds. Don't get mad at us. I'm only sharing it because I love you. Let's make sure you love me too. But I'm going to show you guys some track list here. And can you read that? It's really small on my screen. If you can, I can read some of it to you. Okay, so I'll read them. So we got Zero, Lobster Popstar, I'm the Best, Control, We Are Like Flintstones, Grandma, Boobs, It Happens, Psycho, Bandejo, From Zero to Hero, and Refugee. We can listen to about 30 seconds of any one of these that you think sounds good. I'm going to kind of lean away from a couple because you need to hear the whole song. First one I'm leaning away from is Refugee because it's actually a very, very good song about being a Russian refugee while all that war is going on because they're a Russian band and they're in America right now. Fantastic song, not funny. So we're going to go for the ones that are funnier. And I'm going to lean away from Boobs because that one is, there's not much to the song. You pretty much get it. You had a guess of what it's going to be. You're probably right. So the ones I'd recommend, I'm not going to recommend it. That's the thing. So Zero, Lobster, Popstar, I'm the Best, Control, We Are Like Flintstones, Grandma, It Happens, Psycho, Bandejo. Which one do you want to hear?
I'm voting for the Lobster Popstar.
Yeah,
Popstar?
let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna. My recommendation was gonna be I'm the Best, but this would be number 2. So we're still not that far off.
It's
So
fun
here
to
we go.
say too.
Lobster Popstar. I know that's. I've even bought the record because it came on this bright yellow vinyl. It's fucking cool. So here we go. Hopefully it's working. Let's find out. Everybody hearing it?
Oh yeah.
Baby, you know this game.
You've been buying passes to the wrong party. I've been on the mission like a non-stop wave. Make it all look easy, but the girls tell me.
Hear that drop?
Nice to meet you, calling on Chante. You know what they call me, I'm the boss all day. Got my Gucci like it to the top, I'll stay. Get out of monster chase, my national interest rates.
30 seconds, so we're not going to get in trouble. There it is.
So I'm digging the hell out of that.
You can tell that's just my vibe, man. Their music videos are
Yeah.
hilarious. The two of them are very, very funny, very personable people. And yeah, I'm a fan. Hopefully you guys are now too after that 30 seconds. I'd go check out the video. It's hysterical. When I saw them live earlier this year, she was extremely pregnant. Like I guess somewhere around 8 months. She's just very, very bulbous, ready to pop. And they come out with their, very thick Russian accents, and they're just trying to interact with the group, and she's just trying to dance, do her thing. And he's like, "Hello, we are Little Big." And then he walks over and says, "And this is Little Big."
Nice. Oh, that was given the
Warms my
same
heart.
energy of when you shared a while back, Baby Metal and that Ratata.
Yeah.
That is that same vibe. Yeah. Ratata.
Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. I'm in
I feel warmed
the,
up.
I'm going to flex it a little bit. I'm in the 0.05% top listeners of Little Big on Spotify this year, as my DJ likes telling me. And it's like, cool. I'm a dork, but take that, the rest of the world. It's pretty good stuff.
Nice.
So with that in mind, we feel good and warmed. People are in a good mood now. I'm gonna kick it off with my top 5 of things from 2024, and I had a very specific rule for me this year. One, I had to have seen it or experienced it in 2024, and I had to experience the entirety of it in 2024, and that's why starting out of the gate, Dune is not on my list. I love Dune Part 2, but it's Part 2. I need the whole movie, and part of it came out in a different year. And having watched them both back to back, that's how it should be seen. Splitting up is not the right call. I want Dune 2 to be on my list, but it's a movie with no home. It has no year because it came out across many.
The movie with no year.
Yep. I love Dune 2, but it's not the one for today. So I will start off with my, I'm going to go bottom top, even though you know my number 2. The number 5 thing that I did this year that I thought was absolutely fantastic is English Teacher on FX. Story of an English teacher in high school who's gay, and he gets himself into a lot of trouble that should get him fired every single episode. And it's kind of like the Save the Cat, if you will, if you know screenwriting books. How is he going to get out of this one? I don't know. And then by the end of the episode, he figures it out. Seems pretty basic, pretty simple, but as you're watching it, it's actually very engaging and very funny. And you start really like enjoying the characters and whatnot. And it just kind of felt nice to have a kind of like a new show that wasn't trying to be like the new, this is going to win all the awards, this is the new The Bear or Game of Thrones. Everyone wants to be the absolute best, and it kind of gets exhausting after a while. This one just wanted to be a good show, and it nailed it. Number 4 for me is the movie Stream. I'm not sure when this one actually came out because it's a very low budget horror movie that was shot throughout COVID. They didn't tell the people in the hotel they were filming it. It's a very violent horror film. They should have told people. Somebody almost got shot because of it. It's a very funny story. Funny in a weird way.
Okay.
It is, the guy who plays Art the Clown in Terrifier is also in this movie. And he's the one who was almost shot. And listening to him tell that story is very funny. It's just a good movie. It's got a bunch of people from Reanimator in it. It's one of the last roles for, how am I blanking his name? Candyman.
Oh God.
You know who it is?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Tony Todd. There it is.
Yeah.
One of his last performances. He's in it. They got.
Okay.
Now I'm blanking on everybody's name.
Who are
Pennywise. Tim Curry. Tim Curry's in it.
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry. It's the first movie he's been in forever. He wears a mask and he's in a wheelchair and he doesn't really sound that good, but he's in it. And then they have the same special effects makeup as the people who did Terrifier, but it's not nearly as gross as Terrifier. It's still extremely violent, but not Terrifier grossness. It's a ton of fun. Highly recommend it if you like horror movie. If you're interested in like low budget things, this is fun. But if you've ever been a fan of horror, it is very much that like we're gonna celebrate horror movies of like, oh, I know that person, I know this person, I know this person. So it kind of felt like a party. So highly recommend that one. Number 3, Ray Gun at the Olympics, the break dancer.
Yes.
Need I say more?
The
Are you not entertained?
highlight of the 2024 Summer Olympics, absolutely, hands down.
I
It
don't
took
even
me a
mean
second to remember.
I don't even mean it as a dig. Like I'm not trying to be mean to the woman. Like she showed up. You know, like if you believe the controversies or like the conspiracy theories, then fine, whatever. But if you don't, like I don't, she showed up. She did her best, man.
Yeah.
Was it
Yeah,
ridiculous? Yep. Was she doing a bunny/kangaroo hop as a way to breakdance? I guess.
She was on the
Forever
world
funny.
stage. She was on the world stage and she was doing. So like you can't really fault that.
Nope.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough one to fault. Yeah.
No. Did I laugh relentlessly at it? I sure did.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really did. Do I have a 3D printed cell phone stand of it? I might. It's not built because I don't have the right screws for it, or I'd show it right now. It's just a collection of body parts at the moment, which is kind of messed up. But
Demonetized for body parts.
yeah, it brought me a lot of joy this summer.
It did. It did.
When I needed it. So thank you, Ray Gun. I'm sorry you had to retire because no one took you seriously, which is very sad, but I'm sorry. It's just kind of funny too.
It's just it's pretty funny.
Number 2, as we already know, is My Lobster Popstar by Little Big. If you are a fan of what we listened to a little bit earlier, as long as that didn't get completely stripped, you will like the rest of it. And if you're digging it, watch their music videos. They are hysterical. I'm not sure if it has anything to do with the toilet that shall not be named, but their song Skibbity, which came out forever ago, is phenomenal and really what made me a fan of them. They had a whole dance with it. It was a big TikTok sensation when it came out, but it's old now. I'm dating myself. But it's great.
Oh yeah, you old.
I'm just an old man who likes pop music. Number
The
1.
old man in the pop music.
It's a shitty sequel to The Old Man in the Sea. Number 1 for me is easily the best movie of this year is The Substance. The Substance. It's just an absolutely phenomenal movie. It's gross. It's gross as hell. So that's kind of a barrier for entry. I understand, but I still think even if you know it's full of body horror, and like I will tell you, by the end of the movie, it's like a blood cannon is all I can describe it as.
Oh man.
It's really messed up, but it is full of just really hard-hitting messages that a lot of people aren't talking about. One of the best performances by Demi Moore. My favorite performance by Dennis Quaid ever. He is absolutely incredible in it. Demi Moore is great. Margaret Qualley is phenomenal. And it has this undercurrent of things that we don't talk about, of the things you do in your youth can ruin your elder years. And you need to keep that in mind. What you do now, you pay for later in a big way. And this movie does a better analogy of that than anything I could ever possibly imagine. So take everything else with it with a grain of salt. Super violent, super bloody, tons of nudity. Like it is not for the kids, but it's great. And it's my favorite movie this year. I hope it's yours too. That's all I got. It's my top 5. There we go.
Nice.
Nice.
It's a good list, solid list. I am upset that I never got to see it in the theater. It left, and then the week later, or a week or two later, I was my schedule freed up.
Perfect timing.
So,
Yeah.
perfect timing. Yep. So I aim to get to it before the year is out if I can, but I just missed it, and
Yeah.
I will forever kick myself for it.
I almost did. It was one of those, like, it was noon on a Sunday. We're coming back from my son's soccer lessons. And I'm like, we have nothing this afternoon, right? And she's like, well, my wife was like, we have plans tonight. I'm like, at 5, right? Yeah. Can you drop me at the movie theater? I'm going to go see a movie right now. It's like I did not want to miss it. That's what I did. I'm really quick before John gets started on his top 5. I just want everyone to know I'm going to out him right now. He had a 6th, and I said no. That's
I had a extra credit, if you will, or
and don't you dare say what it was. If it didn't make the top 5, you don't get to talk about it. Strict
Okay.
rules and after the hype.
it does not exist. Wow. First, no hats, and then this.
No
Oh,
hats. No 6th. I take issue with your number 4 because there's way more things in your number 4, but I'm letting it slide.
Well, it's mainly I need examples. You,
That's right. Get that hat.
I see what you're doing.
Bullshit hat.
Yeah, those I just came up with some examples, but I mean, I guess that's a good place to start. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do what you did. Start with number 5. Let's
There we
go. Let's see if I can find it. Reacher season 2, which technically ended in January. It was kind of like that on the border of 2024, 3 and 24. But I was very into it when I watched it, and between the first season and this one, that really got me into a bunch of Lee Child books to begin with, and just reading through a bunch of them, and it kind of kick-started my reading for a little while before I lost it.
Yeah.
But it was something that I needed. I needed something that was easy to read, not in a negative way, easy, entertaining, something that I couldn't put down that was just to the point, I guess, if there's no better way to put it. And the season 2, while not nearly as good as season 1, it was still among one of the more entertaining shows I watched this year.
How's I'm forgetting his name now. Alan in it. Alan Richardson.
Reacher?
The guy.
Richardson? Yeah, Reacher.
Richardson? Yeah. Raphael.
Yeah, very, very good. He's doing kind of he's pretty close to the book, but he's still like very beefy and very his own thing with it. But better than Tom Cruise's version.
I mean, I didn't mind the first Tom Cruise one. I never saw the second one.
I actually,
First one actually
weirdly
was
enough,
fun.
yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
There's something about kind of the big guy who's a bit big for his temperament, and he just kind of, no one messes with him. There's a presence that Reacher has in the books that Richardson does really well.
Yeah.
Because people kind of have an idea like, hey, he might not be someone we want to mess with. And then they kind of test it and find out that they shouldn't have done that. It's a little bit more than like, hey, look at you, puny guy. Oh, you're really skilled. Oops. It's more like,
I get you.
I can take him. No, I can't take him.
Makes sense.
Really fun, really enjoyable. The next one is a bit of a collection. I did a lot of rewatching this year, from the Buffy Angel thing to a bunch of movies. A lot of my movie watching was just rewatches, and part of that was showing off movies to our kids. And we did things like Duck Soup, Jurassic Park, The Mummy, Sound of Music, My Fair Lady, Charade, North by Northwest, Neverending Story, Fistful of Dollars, Bringing Up Baby. We've been going through all the ones that we've come to love, and it's been very
I don't see
gratifying.
Phantasm in that list. Where's Phantasm?
Off it where it should be.
Boo.
They passed on it. Fistful of Dollars was a little bit too violent for them, so Phantasm might not have worked.
It's only violent
it
in
was-
one scene. Would have been fine. I don't know what you're talking about.
One of the comments afterwards is like, "This is a really violent movie." I was like, well, yes, that's why I like it. But it's been gratifying to share these movie experiences with the youngsters and to kind of get them into what we love about cinema to begin with, or movies that kind of helped us in our love of movies. So that's a big 4 for me. The next one is kind of a sleeper thing for me that just I didn't expect it to be any good, and it was, and that's Delicious in Dungeon. I just happened to be bored one evening and kind of got an autoplay thing. I was like, look at this kooky thing set in a D&D style dungeon. And I was like, okay, I'm interested. I like the D&D things. And so I watched it and got hooked. And the premise really quickly is this party of adventurers go into a dungeon. They lose one of their members that gets eaten by a dragon, and they kind of get forced to flee. And since they have no money for any provisions, one of the members decides to like, hey, why don't we just eat the monsters we defeat in this dungeon? And over the course of like 20 or so episodes, it's delightful. They have recipes. Like they go into detail about the internal makeup of the things they use for their ingredients. So one episode has like living armor that actually it's like a mollusk. So they have like the innards that they have to pull out of the armor that animates it. And then they cook it in a stew. And the dwarf, his weapon is a cast iron skillet. And in every episode, they have a glory shot, not a glory shot, but like a product shot of the food itself done up to look like really delicious. And I highly recommend it. Really fun, really edifying, really cute, really kooky, weird. And if you like kind of that fantasy and dungeon crawly type thing, it's got a lot for you. So definitely recommend a real fun thing. And then for my number 2, we already mentioned it, which would be Dune Part 2. I didn't quite have the qualms that Bryan did about putting it in. Because if I didn't put it in, I'd also have not really any movies from this year. There's a few that I watched this year that were fine, but I would never consider them in a top 5, which if I haven't watched 5, that's a big problem. We'll deal with it in another episode.
I mean, there's good documentaries this year. I'm not sure how many of those you watched.
Not a huge, like, I keep trying to get into documentaries, and I have a harder time with them, but that's a personal hurdle I have to work over. Anyways, I loved Dune Part 2. Just the music, the style, the choreography, the cinematography, everything about it. It was like, this is the sci-fi I've been missing. And just for that alone, like, I still think about it, a lot of the things in that movie to this day, and just riding the sandworms in, and yeah.
The scene where Chani and Muad'Dib, Paul, whatever you want to call him, where she's
Bob Dylan,
sure, why not? Wonka, spoilers for later. When Wonka and Zendaya are in the desert, but that moment where she's teaching him how to like do the sand walk, and like this, like that score hit with that shot, I'm like, this is like, to me, like the Twin Sun Horizon from A New Hope. Like, it's just like that perfect sci-fi, saying very little but a whole bunch with one shot. Like, it's just, that movie is damn near flawless. Its only flaw is that I need another movie to go with it, because having them together just builds that world out so much more. And like, by the time you get to like the sandworms like actually attacking and everything, like starting with the dad, and seeing like the Momoa character. I'm forgetting everybody's name right now. I love this book. I'm just forgive my brain. I'm very tired.
Duncan Idaho is Momoa.
Thank you, Duncan Idaho. Yeah, Duncan Idaho and Atreides Leto. Like when they
just say a bunch of words and you're gonna get it. Like,
I did 60 hours last week. I'm already, we're like 2 days into this week. I'm already at 20. Like, I'm tired.
Yeah, no fair.
But like having all of that build up, I think makes the payoff into that much better. And by starting halfway through the story, it's still great because, Denis Villeneuve is a great director and he can make these stories work. But it didn't have the same payoff to me as when I finally got the movie at home and I watched them back to back. And I'm like, oh, this is the whole movie.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet. And I'm kind of hoping I can carve out some time to do that, just because I want the whole experience. Yeah. But even still, just having, I don't know, this is going to be a weird thing to say, but having such a filmmaking experience happen on screen with all the tricks and things that just like the auteurness of it, just really kind of got me back into that feeling of like, I enjoy the theater experience. Yep. It's something that other movies have kind of like washed out of me a little bit, but just there is like, oh, I loved seeing this, and that's really cool. It goes a long way with me.
Yeah.
And then finally, the number one thing, I think probably my favorite experience of this year would have to be Animal Well, the video game on the Switch. Such an amazing game. And I even wrote it in my review. I have kind of a weird relationship with Metroidvanias in general. Like, the Guacamelee games are really fun, really entertaining, but there's a lot of combat. And by the end, I'm just like, and all the combos. You've got the Ori and the Blind Forest and the Will-o'-the-Wisps. Great, but you're also, like, at the mercy of the combat and some of the really twitchy mechanics. And so I've always been like, they're fun, but I'm kind of annoyed by them at the end. And with this, it was like, what if we took the combat-y stuff out and made it an adventure game as well? And so it's like puzzles, things to solve, and hey, are you obsessive about these kinds of things and like puzzles within puzzles? If you have any of that, this is like gold. And that's kind of what it was here.
I can speak to, I have none of that, and the game still held me for about 5 hours. I'd say, like, I still played it. I never finished it, never got to credits or anything like that, but it's still, I didn't regret buying it. I enjoyed my time with it, but I don't have that drive that you do of like, I think I even told you because I was playing it for a little bit before you were. I'm like, yeah, you will like this one. It's not really for me, but it was still so well made that it's like Balatro this year. Like, I will never play a poker game again. I don't really care for poker. It's not my favorite type of game. It's just not for me. But that game is made so insanely well that it was fun, and I enjoyed it, and I really spent a lot of time with it. And Animal Well ticks that same box. It's not a game for me. I'm not going to finish it ever, but I really enjoyed my time with it.
Yeah, and I was surprised by it. Like, there's some of these things that make it onto my list tend to be surprises, because as much as I like the donkey videos and get a real hoot out of it, any advertising I've seen for Animal Well hasn't grabbed me. The advertising hasn't, but he advocated for it, so I was like, I'll give it a try. And just like
Donkey might have just sold me on the Indiana Jones game. His video on that was one of the funniest things I think he's released in a
so
long time.
good.
I'll have to check it out.
I was almost like, I was doubled over my sink last night doing dishes while I just had it playing on my phone. I was almost crying as laughing. So he doesn't fire a gun throughout the entire time he's playing it. He just spends the entire time throwing shovels at people, and it is so damn funny. Just imagining Indiana Jones being like, at every single person. And then you just have Donkey's voice. This is a good game.
Yeah, and he did that
Hilarious.
for Animal Well too. So it was like, I was like, okay, I'll give it a try at least. And then by the end of the 20 some hours I played of it, I was like, oh yeah, that's actually correct. You're right. This was good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that is my list. Some rewatches and some surprises.
I think I see some rewatches on Kelly's list. Should we keep the rewatch theme, the nearly decade-old number one on her list?
I
let's
cannot express enough how much I don't care about how old this thing is. It is something that I hold near and dear to my heart.
That was the best possible response.
and I have this thing with And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. I do a murder mystery unit with my students every year. This year I'm going to be doing it with my sophomores. But for the very first time, 2 years ago, I had finally seen the, I guess, mini-series version of it. And it was incredibly, it was good, but there was coke and heavy drug use on it, and there were sex scenes, and I was like, I have to fast forward. I have to jump forward through some of this because I couldn't let my students see that. But
Avert your eyes.
I will say, for an Agatha Christie, especially after I guess it was the 1949 version being so terrible as it was, it was an excellent thing to watch, where they actually had the real killer and the real storyline and everything. So if you are not familiar with Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None, it is a book about 10 people who were invited mysteriously to an island by a UN Owen, and they are being killed off one by one. And so it actually was a really good remake of it. It was a British version of it, so it was kind of was kind of nice to see some of the actual like British people playing British roles and all of that, unlike the 1949 version, which was again terrible. So, but it was a very good. It was a very good miniseries, and I enjoy watching it. And I love that's just really an homage to my students, so I can, sort of plug for them right now. But yeah, it's something that I do look forward to every year. So
Here, before you jump on to number 2, quick question for you: if you're, obviously Agatha Christie fan, what do you think of the Kenneth Branagh movies?
I love Kenneth Branagh. I think he was brilliant in more like Shakespeare stuff, and then seeing him as Hercule Poirot, I think he's fantastic, and I love Murder on the Orient Express. I do. I love
his movie
that.
or just the book?
Oh well, the movie with Kenneth Branagh, because
I thought that was great.
Poirot. So I think he's great. But
What about Haunting in Venice?
You know what? I have that, and I have yet to read it. So that's next, like on my Agatha Christie list.
So you haven't seen the movie then yet either?
I have not, and I don't want to see the movie until I've read the book. So I'm.
I know what it's like to ask anyone from your family to read a book, so I'm not expecting this to happen anytime soon. But once you get around to that, let me know what you think. Because I did not really care for the what's the Nile. The one with the Death on the Nile? Is that
Death
it?
on the
Death
Nile.
on the Nile,
Yeah.
So,
I have not read any Agatha Christie in my life, but I've seen a lot of her movies. So
I read Orient Express a couple years ago and loved the book. The book was great. I couldn't put it down.
It's just she's brilliant, and then There Were None is my favorite book of all time. So it's after 2024 being such just a bummer of a year, it really is just nice to kind of go to my sweet spots a little bit.
Kelly, we've been warmed up now. There's no sad stuff anymore. Everything's great now.
Everything's
Did the Lobster Popstar not do it?
But that's my plug for Agatha Christie and my love of teaching and my students. So let's see. I think I have Vampire Survivors.
Yes, you do. I'm looking at your list right now.
Okay, so Vampire Survivors. All right, I love this game. I love it. I've been playing it like crazy again lately. So it's one of those. It's very satisfying to walk around and suck up all of the souls and lives of all of these like vampire demons coming at you, and it's. I don't know what it is about it, but it's just kind of soothing, sadly enough to say, for lack of a better way of saying. It's
that tracks. It's a fun game. I like it.
It really is. It's just it has this sort of ASMR quality to it that's just kind of fun to just walk around and do things. Doesn't sound very exciting, but it actually is a very strategic game. So we've been playing quite a bit, and we got our sons into it recently. So we've been kind of doing collaborative runs with it. So it's been all kinds of new, interesting fun. So that's Vampire Survivors. What do I have for my
you have
next
crocheting / wobbles.
Oh yeah, crocheting wobbles. Okay. So crocheting has been a lifesaver lately. It's again going based on like the whole ASMR calming stuff. I've taken up crocheting and I am now in the middle of doing my 12 days of wobbles. So I've been really going all crazy on my advent calendar and, trying to keep my mind off of bad things and bad times and trying to look toward better things. And, crocheting has just been a good outlet for me in that way. So that's been...
So what are wobbles?
Okay.
Oh, I know what wobbles are because they get target marketing me on Facebook like crazy. For some reason, Facebook thinks I want to crochet wobbles. I don't know why.
And I just said it, so I think I will now be targeted soon.
So now you are doomed.
Every other ad is Harry Potter wobbles, Harry Potter wobbles, Harry Potter wobbles.
Oh, I get those too. Yeah, now it's the Enchanted Forest wobbles. And,
damn it, now I'm going to get Enchanted Forest wobbles.
No, you haven't.
I've never wobbled. I'm not going to start wobbling.
If ever there was a wobble wobble.
I am a crafter. I love that whole genre. So crocheting has been my my fun escape, and I'm planning on doing a Grinch one next. So I'm hoping that goes well. But if you're not familiar with what woobles are, they're these little packages. You get yarn and what they call wee woobly bits, and you get needles and the little
Sounds so
eyes
professional.
and all the
That's like a
hardware
Dune
with
character
it.
name.
It is.
Wee woobly bits.
Wee Woobly Bits.
We woobly
Cincinnati.
bits.
And I love it. I love it. I love saying it. So it's and you crochet these cute little things. Yes, they have Harry Potter. They have then of course right now their Christmas collection. They have I did Snoopy I think a year ago and all that. So they have all these different characters so you can get them, and they have little videos and they walk you through the pattern and all of that. So if you're a beginner, you do it, and if you're an intermediate, you can it's just whatever level you're at, they have you covered, and that's how I started crocheting. So yeah, that's my
Do woobles wobble and do they fall down?
kind
They
of,
wobble
yeah.
well.
Mine do. So yes, but they are a nice relaxing outlet for me. I believe my next one was Heretic.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Heretic, yes. Heretic. And okay, so I saw this movie. I really can't say enough about it. I was skeptical going into it, but it is a horror movie that is based on these two girls who are Mormon. I keep wanting to say Jehovah's Witnesses. They're not Jehovah's Witnesses. They're Mormon, but they go from like house to house to talk and read the Bible and all of that. So they sort of do the same thing. But these girls get to Hugh Grant's house, and he had requested information about, the Mormon or the Mormon church. And so they go in, and he's supposed to have a wife, but he never shows her. And so they keep talking, and it's builds, the suspense just kind of builds and builds and builds, and it's just like a whole tension thing being built through the whole thing. And it is a horror movie, but it's not supernatural or anything like that. It's very psychological, and I think that's what really did it for me, is that it was this like psychological thriller, and I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. And it was, really, I thought it was brilliantly done, quite frankly. And it was done by those directors who are from Davenport. So it was a local, I guess, director thing. So that was kind of I thought it was great. So, and which also brings me to another one, Speak No Evil, was James McAvoy was in this one, and I hadn't seen him since probably Atonement.
You skipped all the X-Men movies. Got it.
Yeah, I did not see any of the X-Men movies. No, but I did see Atonement, and now, of course, I saw him in this, and it was actually based off of the Danish movie, the same name, which was really quite a lot darker than even this one. But so they are these two people. This is about this couple who befriends this family with their daughter in Italy, and then a couple months later they get a postcard from him saying, "Oh yeah, why don't you come out and stay at our little remote house in the middle of nowhere?" And so they all decide to just up and go, and so weird things start happening. Their son has no tongue, and so he can't talk, and something's wrong with him, but it's not, obviously it can't be said. So you're
no red flags at all.
Oh,
yeah.
Don't worry. I think every trailer said it many times. So it means I didn't see the movie. I saw that trailer so many times.
I would imagine. So I actually never saw the trailer until
my god.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
like after. So, but
Good job. Good on you.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, I walked into it blindly. So it was nice to be able to have that another suspense, tension filled, like horror film that was, again, I think that kind of horror genre is brilliantly done. and I thought that I would highly recommend it to any horror movie lover, but it's not very gory. It's not supernatural. It's just I don't know. It's just it's evil. It really is.
That's not speaking.
Don't say
That's
it.
not spoken. Yes. But it's a very good movie. Again, and I usually go into horror movies with an open mind, but usually very low expectations for how good it's going to be. That one I was actually pleasantly
I take
surprised.
offense
along
to
with
that
Heretic.
statement. My God.
I mean, after all of the Freddy
I cannot defend the Freddy movies.
I
Those were
cannot.
bad.
I can't. Oh my god! I just can't. I can't. But I liked the first one, and I liked Freddy versus Jason, and it was like two ends of the spectrum. Those were the two I liked, and that was.
You didn't like 3? 3 was so good.
I can't remember 3. That's the problem.
Fair enough. I get that. No judgments.
Yeah.
I got lost in the sea of horrible, so I
Totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched the morale go down on the reviews of the Friday the 13th films. Just like,
Whoa, Friday 13th. Mm-mm.
Oh.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm Street. I do
Yeah.
the same thing. Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah. So
there are so many of those that I do that I have to like be careful with.
Yeah.
I say one thing and think the other.
Yeah, but yeah, that was my experience with Freddy, and but it was nice to have an actual like mind bender, for a horror film for a change. So yeah, that was my list. That was my big 2024 excitement.
I'm just so excited for 2025 when Joel makes you watch all of the Evil Dead franchise. It's
Oh, that's right. I forgot
Curry
about
wearing the
that
shirt
one.
from number 2. Like
The Evil Dead. That's the next one. I forgot about that.
Evil Dead. If I have top 3 horror franchises, it's Friday the 13th, Phantasm, and Evil Dead. So like,
See, it comes after Phantasm. That's scary. That's scary.
the problem is not Phantasm in this situation, Kelly.
I the problem is always Phantasm. I mean,
No.
Now I want like that.
You're
on
gonna
a
make me
shirt
as
and
mad
then
as John did when he said Bottoms wasn't good. Like, let's not go there again.
now that I don't know because I have not seen that yet, but I do plan on seeing that. So
we got one more person to talk about who also has things that are from not this year, from very long time ago, actually older than Kelly's.
Ooh.
Significantly. Well, one of them is also from the 80s, potentially, depending on what you want to talk about. So you got some old ones on here.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go in the same order you guys did. I'll start with 5. I originally had a different TV show here, but because I don't want Bryan to kill me, I won't mention it because there's no honorable mentions, right?
No honorable mentions.
But the Fallout TV show, and this came up for me because I just recently watched the Borderlands movie, and
Oh yes,
it made me remember that the Fallout TV show was really, really good. So I went back and watched it again, and like I know they 3D printed like a lot of the things for the props and for the show, and there's like real sets, and the writing is written of a mix of people who really, really love the source material, the games, and then some people who had nothing to do with it. So you have a good balance, so you don't get pulled in one way or the other, as opposed to things like, the Halo TV show or Borderlands, where we're going to tell our own story, and then they just kind of tell a mishmash of, things from that universe and claim it's an original story. I'm just really grateful that show exists. It was great, and it was about the only good thing recently for video game TV shows outside of Twisted Metal, which was more just entertaining rather than good, I guess. So, and then number 4, I just kind of went with Nintendo. Not because they sued everybody this year.
Just Nintendo.
we win at suing everybody.
Listen, I'm just a fan of companies. What else can I say?
Wahoo! Lawsuit.
So I have a 13-year-old son, and he's got little brothers, and teenagers hitting that age kind of hard to deal with, but we came up with the idea of doing Mario Party Mondays. So it is time because we all, 3 kids, something going every day of the week. But we sit down on Monday, we get some snacks, and we play Mario Party together. And it's been a nice little way to bond, to spend time together while still like doing something they want to do, not necessarily like kind of forcing an activity that they aren't familiar with or whatever. And it's been really great. It's been a way to get the kids to kind of be patient with each other too, because stealing stars and coins can bring out the worst in all of us. But
not me.
No.
That's why I don't play Mario Party.
I'm the only one that's actually super competitive, so it's more on me than anybody when it comes to that. But yeah,
I'm pretty aggressive with that game.
Right? And it's the Switch is also my indie games machine because I don't have a Steam Deck. So getting things this past year like Cult of the Lamb, Little Kitty Big City, I think was another one we really enjoyed.
Oh yeah.
Animal Well, all that stuff. I know Stardew Valley is old, but those things. So
That's a good game.
Oh, my Google Home can hear me talking. It's trying to talk back. That's not great. And then 3, I combined musicals. I couldn't remember if Wonka was in January or December of last year.
It said 2023 for Wonka at least.
Bryan recommended it last year, and I was like, fine, I'll go. And it honestly was... It moved me. I felt things again, and that was pretty cool. And then I took my kids to that one, and then I love Wicked. We've been to the play a bunch, and I was really hesitant to see the movie because it's a part 1, and I hate that. I hate part 1. Just make the whole movie the actual stage plays 2.5 hours, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
But I wanted more. That movie was so good, so entertaining, so well made that I was like, okay, part 2 is fine. I'll take that. And and it was again, all my kids sat through it and had a great time. And that's especially with one of them having autism, to get them to do anything for more than 20-30 minutes is a pretty tall task. So I really appreciated what it was, and nobody sang in my viewing, so that was also very nice.
That's good.
I think those reports are overblown. I have a friend who manages an AMC, and he said he had 0 instances where he had to ask people to leave or to stop or do that. So, but it was really good. And number 2, I have Gran, who's a Minecraft YouTuber, and his group Hermitcraft.
Now, did I spell that correctly as I put it on there?
Yes.
Just to make sure. Okay.
Yep. They do a bunch of like mini series. Some of them are like half or extra life, where there's like 12 of them, and they all have 7 lives, and it's who can last the longest, and just little things like that. And it doesn't sound like much, but they put a lot of effort in their videos. It's great personalities. It's one of those things, again, with having as many kids as I do, they'll all 3 sit down and watch it with us. And like, since they do, it's a weekly thing. It's our show we watch together every week. And that's been really nice. And they're one of the few groups that doesn't have any issues with minors in terms of Minecraft YouTubers, which,
minors, not minors.
And my last one, Fellowship of the Ring. We started watching the Hobbit movies, and we got through them.
They happened.
Fair.
The third one still gives me a headache. But when we got to Fellowship, because we were just kind of watching them kind of like in that order, and it clicked with my kids, like, oh, this is like different. This is something we haven't seen before. This is pretty magical. And I haven't cried in a movie since Klaus, I think, and just the scene with Boromir, and after, and he's like, our people, and then I would have followed you, to the end.
Followed you, yeah. It gets worse. It gets like my tears get worse every year.
I'm fine with that scene.
Sean-
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Sean Bean, every moment he speaks on camera is just, it's amazing. That I'm sure he got some kind of recognition for it. I don't remember because it was a long time ago, but holy crap, does he just everything he does. But that scene in particular, that was the first time I've cried in a long time from a movie. Yeah, it's just it's just a magical experience. And because they haven't seen it and they're young, I get to tell them, oh, he broke his toe. Like for the other movies too, because we watched those.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he broke his toe when he kicked the helmet, or the guy who played Gimli just hit everybody because he didn't like fight choreography and things like that.
My favorite one's always like the guy who played Gimli is also Treebeard, like those sorts of things.
I actually didn't know that.
Oh yeah, same dude.
It's fun to read that character in the book. It's fun to read that character in the book.
Yeah.
It's funny. I found out that he's actually the tallest of all of the.
Oh yeah,
all
he's
of
a big
them.
dude.
Like he's like 6'3". I'm like, wow.
I mean, it makes sense.
And
Big,
the makeup
stocky
gave him
guy.
incredible
Yeah,
form.
yeah, I could see it.
Just make him shorter. That was everybody, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We did it.
We did it.
We
This
survived.
is we survived. This is usually where I say let's pick out something from next year, but I'm not. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this year while I got it. Next year's problem, and we will meet it when it arrives. This will most likely be our last after the hype of the year. That's not because we need to take breaks. It's just because now the rest of the year is going to pop off and it's going to be busy as hell. But we will do.
Yeah,
these
this was
as-
the last day. This was my last not busy day until like Christmas. So
I wish this was my last not busy day. That's why I have to leave my house right now and go do errands. Like I don't have time anymore. So I got this in though, and we did it, and I'm proud of that much. But we're gonna do a very quick round of plugs for this show, every show on the ATH Network. Be sure to check out athpod.com, including Binge Buddies, where we have just finished recording our last movie for Nightmare on Elm Street, which we're all very, very happy to be done with.
relief.
But we do have our final ranking episode, which is going to be coming out very soon. Recording it this weekend, should be out, I think, in 2 weeks then. So this will be out before it. Be sure to check that out. That will be on YouTube. There'll be everything. We're releasing the video for that one, too, which will be a lot of fun. We're going to rank the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, and then we're going to take all three of the unholy trilogy, that is Jason, Michael, and Freddy, and rank them all together. We have some fun categories like the best movies, the worst movies, the best remakes.
That's a good one.
It's gonna be a good time, and I'm looking forward to that. And that's all gonna be in the same episode, probably a little long, like hour and a half ish. But it's YouTube. People are fine with long episodes, or at least that's what they tell me. And that's all I've got. Those are my plugs. What do you guys got?
Demon Days. The usual spiel. Just catch up. We have a great time, and the Bullywug. I gotta get you to do more Bullywug voices because I do miss it. I haven't edited one in a while, and it's probably good on your voice. On your vocals.
I mean, a little bit. But now I have a better recording system, so I can actually do it where I can actually like pop off, and I don't have to worry about peaking the whole time, which I already do just because I'm loud. But like my friends, fiends, like that comes out, and
Yeah.
and I talk with big hands the whole time for no one to see, but I do it anyways.
Well, that's the goal for next year is to try to get it to where we can see some of that. So
no.
we'll see how that goes. Be ready if the research goes well. But we also did a bunch of articles on Super GG Radio for our gaming end of the year sort of things. And mine's on there. Bryan's is on there. Brok's is on there. And yeah. Fun stuff. You should read it.
Yeah. I talk about Sekiro a lot. I rank all 4 times I played it. I'm on my 5th right now. I'm about halfway through it. I was playing Death Stranding, and then I'm like, or Sekiro.
You know what would make Death Stranding better? A playthrough of Sekiro.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened. I even listened to Joel, and I finally downloaded Nier, and I'm like, I'm going to play Nier after Sekiro.
Nice.
It's a really good game.
So I've heard. 4, 5 times.
You could experience it for yourself. Just saying. Brok, you got any plugs?
I do. So not Damage Boost the podcast yet, but Damage Boost the YouTube channel. Got more content coming out in the next couple weeks. I've finished up. Just got to get it uploaded. And also my other YouTube channel, Mushroom Kingdom Network, which is all just Nintendo-based, more family-friendly content. And I got a video coming out this week for that. So check those out.
Brok, I'd love to watch you stream Sekiro.
I don't own it. I'm sorry.
I can fix that. It's the holidays.
If we help you with Sekiro, can we join your stream and just like egg you on as you play Sekiro, Brok? I would be the angel. I would be the angel or devil on your shoulder for that game.
I'll be the annoying guy telling you
better
exactly where to
underrated.
go. No, just go. No, just go. Oh, you're doing it wrong. that would be me. But I'd have
Here,
fun
let me
with
take
it.
the controller.
Just hand me it through
would
the
love
screen. Kelly, anything to plug?
Yeah, Afterthoughts, our podcast, we talk about books and all different kinds of fun stuff, movies, and anything you could possibly ever want in the entertainment industry. And of course, Super GG Radio, which is Joel's big podcast. And so, yeah, so
He's not on camera, but I know the exact look he just gave you.
yeah. No, you can see it. You can feel it too.
Oh, yeah. I could feel it coming. On the other side of the country, I still felt it.
But yes, Super GG Radio, where they talk about video games and all things adjacent, is I believe how the
That's how he says it. Yeah.
tagline goes.
Yeah,
So
you got
yeah,
it. Nailed it.
so yeah, that's us.
Okay. I'm very happy to be back doing After the Hype. Doing this again has been a lot of fun. I hope the few of you who are listening will turn into many of you listening, and you're enjoying it as well, because this is a good time, and we're gonna have some really fun episodes next year. I'm not sure what they're gonna be about. We're kind of playing it as they come, but it's been fun, and we're gonna keep making it fun.
Definitely.
Have a good rest of the year, everybody who's listening. We will see you in 2025.
All right. Bye.
Bye.